So, let me back. I'm a little distracted with I let my audio already be playing on my live stream, so I could know. It might actually help me. Not sure because it's delayed. So, but it helped me know when to, switch cameras and have it like right on the right spot on the music. But I mean, it kind of works out anyway because of the music I chose. But yeah, anyway, I used to try real hard to do that. Because I like things like that to work nicely. But it was really hard to do with OBS Studio because you can't preview. Only way you can preview is to listen to your own live stream, and that's going to be a little bit delayed, if not. Well, I have mine set to 20 or 30-second delay anyway. Before it goes, it builds up some cache basically on my computer and then streams it that way. If there's any delays in in the data going through, then maybe you won't lose data on the live stream. That's my point. That's what that's for. So anyway, okay, back to work on Mom's computer upgrades and the ASRock here. I've got it set up with open and my camera aimed on it so I can see inside. The last time I worked on it, can't reach. Where is it? There it is. I can reach it. Okay, the power supply here is well, it's really the box is motherboard there, the nice blue motherboard. That's ASRock. The box and the power supply is from an old E-machines that had bad cap syndrome. The motherboard had blown about four caps, I believe, and a bunch more were swollen when I got it. And the power supply had some swollen caps, but it was still working. And so the other day, when I was yesterday, I went outside to look at my old computers and look at their power supplies and everything. And I ended up staying out there all day long, and I didn't do any video because I really didn't think I'd be out there but about an hour. I was out there from, I don't remember, but I didn't come in until 10:30 at night. I went out there at either 11 in the morning or noon or something. Hey, so anyway, crazy. Once I saw that it was getting dark, I finally got to the point of just figuring out what I had in the way of power supplies. I just said, well, forget the ASRock today. I fiddled around with some computers, those old computers in the garage for until 10:30. So, and I got my router set up. As I talked about that before, here recently I did a video out there, but the audio and video was it seemed like it was a minute out of sync. It was probably about 20, 30 seconds or something, but really bad because the streaming, wireless mic, one camera and the video on the other. And actually, that's the only way it'll work at all because I remember now, I tried a couple of times to stream the audio and video from the same phone camera, and what happens is it just starts dropping audio and video frames and just freezing for sometimes it'd freeze for 5 minutes when with no repeater out there. And I had a ZoneNet router out there for years. It was my wireless repeater. But I finally figured out yesterday that the thing is basically almost dead. It was getting, at best, 2.5 megabits once I got it up. I hadn't ever connected to my new D-Link, and so I did it yesterday, and it just wasn't usable. So then I took my old Linksys, which actually was not doing any better than about 10 megabits. That's why after I put DDWRT on it, and didn't do a bunch of testing before that, but I knew it was acting up, and I had turned off the Wi-Fi because it wasn't working well. But on the wired, I don't remember when I did test it exactly what was wired and what was. The wired was terrible. It was 10, 15, 25 megabits, and it should be 100, And so I should get on an internet speed test. I should get around 60, 65. That's when when everything's working right. So I just set it off to the side, and then I decided, well, it's better than nothing out there. And the old machines I had out there, I was running a live OS, and I couldn't. I was running Mint, Linux Mint domain from 2010 or something off of a DVD, and the browser was too old to run the speed test app, so I didn't get one last night, and I didn't want to, I wasn't going to install an OS or anything. The machine that I was testing with, well, I tried two of them, and the one that I got booted up on Mint was had the hard drive's messed up. It's there, but it's messed up, and it has Fedora 12 and WinXP on it, but it won't boot. Well, actually, I put that in there out of another machine, a Pentium 3. that it used to run on. That's probably why it won't boot. And the hard drive that was, came with it was bad. I had to figure out my notes, and I didn't open the case. Well, I guess I did open it, but I didn't think, I can't remember if I saw if there was 1 or 2 hard drives in it. So, anyway, I'm not going to do it today. I'm not planning on going outside, so why am I talking about it? I might hopefully be able to get by with streaming out there with the wireless repeater out there. That's the only thing I got I can put out there. Everything else, like my TP-Link would probably be the best one, but I need it for all of its wired ports and here in the house. So I got 3 routers daisy chained together, and I could still handle them. I could still use a couple of more ports sometimes, but what I do is just unplug a cable from one machine and plug it into another whenever I need one, because of course I don't run them every day at the same time. I got too many computers. They're all old. I don't have anything really new, but I got them given to me usually for working on stuff, computers for people and stuff. So I'm going to check into this one. I think wrong spot. Looking in my preview, I think I will open it up. I did not. There's only one power supply that I have. That let me go ahead and just switch mics and go over there, and now I can tell about it. Let's see. Yeah. We'll go to camera 2. Just the close up there. Don't have to keep looking at me. Okay, yeah, it looks like it's all working. But during a little switch like that, it's always a good possibility for me to mess up. So I'm gonna hit the reload on my live stream on the laptop and make sure I'm working before I go over there. Hope I don't cough too much, because now on this I'd be really loud. Yeah, we're working. Okay, now I can move. And I can cough. So, the ASRock power supply, I think I will, but I'm not going to take it out right now, but I may take it out and open it up and see what the caps look like and everything. But I actually have an IDE hard drive. It came with one of those computers that was given me. It's a 250 gigabyte that was brand new, and then the person that gave it to me never did figure out how to format it, so it wasn't even formatted. So I, formatted it and put Fedora 26 on it, and the motherboard has 4 SATA slots, and actually oddly enough, the DVD drive in here. See, this machine is new enough that it did have the original hard drive was SATA hard drive. I think I gave it back to her so she could have another backup of her data. I can't remember now. Excuse me. If I did keep it, then I got it in another machine or something. I don't remember. But what I was getting at is when I was running it all day for 8 hours at least, maybe 10. The longer I ran it, the slower it got to where it wasn't hardly running, and that's what it used to do to her. So I think it wasn't just the motherboard. I think the power supply it's probably the longer it runs, the harder, it may be getting harder. It may not be actually overheating, but it's just not putting out like it should. I'm worried that if it does pop some caps, it could blow out the motherboard. So the only thing I had that was compatible was this one right here. Stuck it in a box. This was from Mom's Theta's Hot Rod PC, the original 450 watt power supply that came with it. And I had notes on it. I thought it went bad, and it probably did. I think it won't do anything. So, and I put it in that Pentium 3 where this hard drive came out of. and it wouldn't. I saw the fan just kind of try to turn and then quit. That's all I ever got out of it. So then today I got to thinking, well, I thought, yeah, it's bad. Finally wrote on there, bad, you know. But I'm gonna get it open here. Let me move this machine for a little bit. And I'm gonna open it up, look at it, and then I'm gonna plug it into that motherboard. Who knows? Here's the thing. I looked them up yesterday. If you had one that didn't have all the SATA and all that, or the 20, if you had one that was a 20 pin, if that motherboard was a 20 pin instead of a 24 pin, this will go either way. You can just clip that on the side and plug it in, and so this one will go either way. And it has the 4 pin, and it has the 8 pin, 2, 4, 6, 8, yeah, 8 pin for the extra power to the motherboard. Then it has SATAs and Molex connectors. And so the other motherboards, because what I was thinking was, well, maybe not motherboards, power supplies. I thought, well, I can take one of those power supplies out of one of those old computers and just, you know, cut this off. This right here, maybe. So if it's the only one I got, I think I have some more that are on bad power supplies. But cut it off and put it. I saw that you could buy adapters and you just plug them into a Molex. So you could just say like floppy. I mean, she's not going to be using floppy at all. I do on some of my older machines, but I could just cut this, and you couldn't do it that way. That's a 5 volt right there. But you'd need to, I wouldn't run, I think each one of these wires go, especially the yellow, that's 12 volts. Each one of them goes back to a certain rail on, we'll look at that, go back to a certain rail. So let's just open it up. Instead of just talking about it in abstract, we'll just look at it. Let's get this open. And I think I better get something to, there we go. Got me something to put my, need to put it somewhere where I won't turn it over. For right now, I'll put it over here. Place to put my screws so I don't lose them. And I looked up at my laptop and I saw a preview of the machine. I thought, oh no. That's the bad thing about having, you know, I can't play it all the time. It'll overwhelm that machine. But when you freeze it, then I look up just intuitively to check on it, and it's not playing, so it's way behind. So I can turn around and see my preview and my machine that I'm streaming from, and then I say, oh no, that's what I'm streaming. It doesn't want to turn very good. It's been open more than once. I stuck the sticker on there that tells you about that 20 pin, 20 plus 4 P. That's what it says, 20 plus 4 pins. So just right there will do. Now, see if we can get that open without. Yeah, it's been open several times. This is, let's see. Go ahead and get my, I think I can reach my mouse, and now I'm gonna use my endoscope for a close-up. It's gonna be a bit funky, but it's hard to hold still. It's the thing, and hard to twist it the right way. Since that's all pretty straight but upside down, I'll just flip it and then I'll read it off the preview. So it's a Extreme ATX 450 watt. Input 115, 220, like pretty much all of them, 60 or 50 megahertz. And output is 3.3 at 20 amps, max 20 amps, 5 volts max. really hard. There we go. Hard to know which way to go. 5 volt max 24 amps, 12 volt max 25 amps, negative 12 volts, max .8 amps of an amp, 5 volt SP 2 amp, 3 and 5 volt 160 watt, and usually they say like total output and stuff. This one doesn't seem to have that on there, but it's total output's 450 watts. I know that. And of course, made in China. So it didn't blow caps or anything. It just quit putting anything out. And I've already looked. Oh, I'm sorry. Completely forgot what I was doing. Just keep going here. Go back to the other view. And come back, camera. There we go. Okay. So I can't move that this camera easily at all. So I'm not going to try to move it closer. But okay, now. Oh, it's made so you can't see it, I guess. All the wires come in here and go through the circuit board. A lot of the ones I've opened up, they go to what they call the rails, and these are heat sinks here. So I'm guessing the rails are on the other side that they're actually connected to, other side of the board. So I was going to show. That's why I opened it. One of the reasons I was going to open it up anyway, but I was going to show all the rails where each thing was connected and kind of it was kind of helped me figure things out. But yeah, those heat sinks are on some circuit. I want to call them MOSFETs. I tried to learn about all this, but I'm not sure what they are. For years I've been reading about these. I'm trying to learn to even make my own power, build my own power supplies and stuff, but I haven't got there yet. But you don't see a single cap that's, swollen, leaking, anything, which is the most common thing, they say. The fuse looks good. It's soldered in there. You can't take it out. Let's look at it really close, because if that was blown, of course you can bypass the fuse to make sure. And I may do that. But it looks good, but I know one thing, this is just like an automotive fuse, and they can melt loose up in the end of the fuse cap. And it makes it harder to see, doesn't it, for you? No, I lied, there's one swollen cap right there. Yep. On this side, none of those are swollen or leaking. Some of the older electronics, they get kind of dirty looking, and they have glue that they put on there, kind of hot snot type of stuff. It looks like snot, and you'll think your cap's leaking sometimes looking at those. But yeah, there's one that could very well be bad. That's swelled pretty good. Wouldn't think this one cap there would make it not run. That motherboard was still running just horribly with 4 blown caps. Of course, I don't know what that cap does, and maybe it's the one that can make it stop running. If I was good at soldering, I would. I might actually try replacing that one cap. A whole bunch of them. I used to be good at soldering. I taught myself to solder when I was a kid. Then I learned, the last few years I've learned more about soldering electronics and stuff, but I can't see, my hands aren't steady, and besides, the machine is running, and I'm just trying to let her use it temporarily until I get her actual system, upgraded with the Fedora 27. So I'm not going to spend forever on side projects. But I thought, well, I could just plug this in and see. I may have taken this board out and put it back, I don't know. I've messed with power supplies quite a bit. I learned how to wire them in series to get, you know, 24 volts out of them and stuff, and I built me what I call my power supply amp. That's what I use to power my speakers in here. And it's got two computer PSUs, power supplies, and I did have it wired like that way for about a year, but it was really noisy because you have to ground lift one of them, and it was just making a buzz. Sometimes it would get better, sometimes it would get worse, and so finally I thought, you know what, I really don't need... I was wanting to try to run laptops on them and stuff to test them instead of having to buy a power supply, because I had a couple of laptops that needed power, but they were old enough that they probably would have ran. They never did, and maybe they wouldn't run because they didn't have they did have a sensor on them that would tell it it's not... doesn't have the right kind of power supply, but what I could gather, they really weren't made that way. But I never got them to run. So I just went ahead and put the ground lift off, separated them, and so 1 amp runs on one power supply. They were 80-watt car amps, automobile amps, so they need 12 volts. And they make really good quiet sound now. So all that this thing would do in that other machine is, I wonder if a continuity tester, nah, I can try it, but I think it won't tell me much with that fuse in there. No, it wouldn't. Most likely it would beep. Let's try it anyway and see. Okay, it's beeping now. Let's see if it beeps. Yeah, it beeps. But that circuit maybe connected on the underside. I mean, I don't know. So I don't know if that tells me anything. But I can check voltages and stuff and kind of just look at it. It won't do any good to just plug it in. Well, I could. I don't really remember. I could make it come on by doing the right jumpers and stuff on here, but I'd have to go back and look at all my... And the best way, the most surefire way... Well, the thing is, I got to thinking, okay, so yeah, I had this plugged in. Actually, all these plugged in. No, just this. See, I didn't have these all plugged in. So these... there might be a sensor wire in that bunch right there. Okay, I don't remember. I read up about it, and so many sensor wires that I couldn't keep track of how many I was reading about. And you know, if all the sensor wires aren't sending the right stuff back, then the machine wouldn't boot up. These, they even said something about, oh, they said some of these had sensor wires, some extra ones that were, they're always going to be a different color, purple, you know, or something like that, gray. So these are just 2 grounds and 2 12 volts. So I don't think that's a sensor. Because this was not plugged in at all in that old motherboard. So anyway, I mean, if you don't test it on the machine, the type of machine at least that you're trying to run, then you may not, you may not have a good test. So I decided to plug it into this thing. It doesn't, I mean, it didn't hurt her machine. So I don't think it will really hurt it. Phone's ringing, and I am expecting a phone call, so I'm not going to get it. I never do, because you never know. We get those stupid scammers calling us so much every day, all day, so I don't answer it. I wait for the message and see. Okay. So, I don't want to plug it any more than I have to. Okay. But I think I'll have to do pretty much everything in order to... I don't want to just... I want to see whether or not it would boot up, so I guess I'll plug in it just like I was going to use it. Plug it in just like I was going to use it. And that means well, that's hard to get to, and I don't need the DVD, so I think I will skip the DVD. Put those in there out of the way. Let's see. But the hard drive I will need, so that's a Molex connector. And I'll just try to see if it'll boot up. And I gotta be careful. I don't want to shock myself, electrocute myself with this thing. I want it in a way to where it will fall. These cables grab everything, and they're grabbing my mic cable. I think that's about the most stable I can get it. Okay, I guess this will be good for the hard drive. And you know what? I'll use the shorter end of the stick here so that it won't be dangling down by that fan. Still don't have a message, do we? Oh, we do. Well, I'll check it after a little bit. I'm going to end up having to quit and have lunch here before too long, so take a break, have lunch. So I've got tape everywhere off of that tape that was wrapped around that double connector. Let's see, 4-pin. Okay. I got it out pretty easy, but I can't see what I'm doing there. There we go. Try the left hand. There. Some of them are so tight you gotta use pliers, needle nose or pliers to get in there and do it. I don't think you can get these wrong, so I won't let you. But there, yeah. They'll clip together too, and that's nice. Now, which way does it go? Okay, it can only go one way because the caps are so close. There we go. Okay, now, we just, since we're not going to plug in this power supply, that DVD just won't do anything. Could unplug the, I think I'll unplug the SCTA just so it won't be, oh, now that you can't get to. Oh, there we go. Little clip for the memory was in the way. I think I might put it in a different slot this time. No, I think it matters. They're numbered, and I think it matters. They have a certain sequence. It makes them, like if you wanted to boot from it, I think it makes a difference. Okay, now I've got my VGA and my USB right here. Power, I've got a power cable out on the floor. I don't think I'll need any that's probably best. There we go. Okay, now let's see if I can set up my endoscope. I might be able to just set it here and have it looking at the fan. Maybe. Yeah. And it will watch and see what it does on the preview. I'll switch to a dual view to an endoscope. See what that looks like. Well, that should show the fan. Oops. I had it pretty good and I'm messed it up. There. That'll show whether we can see whether that fan spins. Let me double check everything. And what happens is it'll just turn a second and then nothing. Oh, and it has a switch. It's probably still turned on. Oh, well maybe if you'd plug in the power supply you're going to try to use, you'd have better results. You think? I think so. So my cable's They're about the same length. And trying to see which ones they're coming out just the same distance. My power cables don't want to reach that. They're not going to reach that far. If I come up like this, I think I'm going to have to turn it around. After all, guess that won't. As long as my cables reach, I'll be all right. Okay, now let's don't shocker. The back side of that, that's 110 volts. Can you see that? That right there's 110 volts. I'm trying to get it to. I want it where it's falling, I have to try to grab it. Very, very careful with that. Okay, now. Okay. Could be turned off. Let's see. Okay. Hey. It came on. So it was a sense wire. But is it any good? I didn't remember to switch my monitor to that port spot on my KVM switch. It's booting up. Hey, I can check the voltages in the BIOS. Can't show that on camera, but I'm going to just leave everything like it is. I started to say I need to switch my camera view, but I don't really need the endoscope. But I'll wait till it's finished booting up. Hey. Okay, so you never have it, as long as you're not worried about tearing, blowing something out. I want that wire on the fan. If I thought it was going to blow it up, I wouldn't have done that. But since I knew it never hurt my mom's computer, her motherboard, this one may just be better, unless it starts acting up. I guess all I can do is, if it runs good for a few minutes here, then I will cover it, put it back together, take this one out and put this one in, and just run it and see how it does. But it works. So, I mean, it's still booting up, but I don't know, the video does look, maybe it doesn't have very much power, because the video is funky. I've got all a big gray screen, and like I said, I don't want to switch. I want the mouse and keyboard to get seen while it's booting up, but I got a big gray screen and a little bit of text. Well, now it looks perfect. Okay. I don't think there's going to be any reason to stick my voltmeter in there and risk shorting things out. I worry about that more than shocking myself. I can stay away from the 110 volt, but it's so easy to short things out, especially when your hands aren't real steady. When you're probing around. My old realistic, before I got this, when I built that power supply amp, all I had was my realistic analog meter that I bought in the 70s, multimeter, and has really long leads on them, which there's a lot of times when I, like that, but when I was testing those power supplies after I ground lifted them and had them opened up, testing things and all, I was trying to make sure I was getting my 24 volts. I was testing off the Molex connectors, and I would get them crossed up and short them out, and I blew out 2 good power supplies. Without the ground, they blow out instantly with one little, just a tap of a short. Just tapping those wires together. Not holding them there and anything like that. Just a glance. So yeah, if you want to get into ground lifting computer power supplies, they blow out instantly if you short them while they're ground lifted. Okay, I don't have the Ethernet hooked up. I think I'll open up a video file and play it. And let me switch. Let's see. I'll go ahead and let's go ahead and give a little bit closer view. There it is running with the power supply. It's wide open, you know, the one that's wide open, that's the one it's running on. And I think I'll start up, well, I was going to say, yeah, let's do that. Start up in desktop, open up TeamViewer. Oops, I started typing before. Get it open on both machines. Now I've got to switch to the other machine to open up TeamViewer on it. And then once I get it opened up, that's really a big surprise. I did not expect, I hoped it would work, but I didn't expect it to work. But let's see if it can work under load. Oh, I don't have the network plugged in. I mean, I can plug it in. I just thought I didn't want to fiddle with that. With the thing wide open. Let's just wait and do our video test after I close it up and hook it up right. Because I'm worried it's going to fall off there. I'm going to bump something. I'll just play one video file and I'll just say, okay, it worked or it didn't. There's one that's, oh, it's not playing. Oh, it wants to install additional software to play that. Well, that's not the media player I used. I didn't have the right one. No, it's not. It keeps stuck in the install or don't install, and I click and don't install, but it's not. Dang it. Oh, that's giving it a little hard work. There we go. I clicked the X and it closed. Okay, I was trying to open up one of my own videos. Dang it. Now this time don't install worked, but I think I might have accidentally clicked install. Okay, we got to switch the file options. Everything is set to the default stuff that Fedora, you know, put in there. I have to go through and do all that. Okay, I just want to play this one file. There we go. Okay, I won't hear it because I don't have it plugged into a speaker. But it's playing just fine. It looks fine. Doesn't look like there's any problem. Okay, that's good enough for me to hook it up and hope that it works. Because I'm thinking it'll make it work. You know, the reason I started thinking of that, I thought it was bad, and I had decided it was bad several years ago, bought a new one. Now let me get back to my stream and put it in. This is a 450 watt, so I thought, well, I'm going to get a 650 watt bigger one, you know, because I figured it had not been able to handle how hard it was working. I was really surprised it went out, thinking that it went out. But let me get to that, just a close-up view there. But that's what I thought it was. But then, within, I don't know, within a year, the whole story I've told before, the switch, the power on-off switch went out. And I think I'll go ahead and turn the switch off, unplug it. And of course, the caps still have a charge on them, so even the power deal might shock you. So don't touch nothing in there. Now, okay, I'm only showing that one view. I'll just leave my endoscope where it is, I think. Now let's move it. I don't want to, it'll hang better there. I want to check my stream though. It's been a little while since I've done that. Okay. Have to reload and then I can unmute the audio. Okay. I got a static electricity shock, scared the living daylights out of me. I'm on carpet. Okay, now we're okay. Oh, actually, that was kind of hooked. Oh, now it's not. Let's see. There, that's kind of got it hooked on something. Okay, so I want this unplugged. There we go. The main, it'd be, can I leave them plugged in? It's going to be tricky to put that cover on there. I'm going to go ahead and take them loose. Put the cover on there. Ugh. There we go. Is that everything? Yep, I believe so. Anyway, yeah, don't ever touch the circuit board. Just don't touch anything in there if you've had it plugged in, because it will stay charged. Those caps will stay charged for, I don't know, I think I've seen getting a jolt out of them for a year, you know, later, before. So I have been zapped by them once or twice. You can discharge them if you can get to the box. See, the motherboard is so, this is so close, there's no way to safely touch. You can discharge them by touching their leads together, shorten them out, but you don't want to short anything else out by accident and burn it up, blow it up, because the charge in the capacitors could blow it out. So, you know, if you touch the wrong thing. So, okay, I went ahead and plugged in my SATA cable back. Now I'm going to have to unplug it from everything from the DVD drive, because I'm going to take this motherboard out. Most a lot of SATA cables don't have a pinching clip. Those do, and so they don't want to come out, and you're kind of going, what's going on? I am, anyway. Okay, now what do we miss? Oh, I've got extra cable that I wasn't using in a little keeper down there, cable keeper. That's a nice cable keeper. It's kind of, you can open and close real quick if you figure out which way to twist it. Because I want to get everything loose where it won't be yanking anything apart on me. Yeah, I won't have to do any of the, I'm not taking the board out, so I won't have to do any of the, I thought, well, if I'm going to do all this, maybe I'll put this in another box, because I don't like this box, because it's an in-machine box, and because it's the multimedia reader, card readers is bad, it won't work, and it's just sitting there. You know, someone might try. I mean, it probably wouldn't do anything. I haven't seen it do anything. It just won't do nothing. I don't think it would hurt anything, but anyway, the box that only box I really have that'd be good for this would be, it's a generic box. It was a Pentium 3 gamer PC. Doesn't have a brand name on it or anything. It's like a Tiger Direct kit, you know. Might have been one, I don't know. It was given to me. But, you know, it's a big box with a handle on top. I call it the Gray Gamer because it's gray. But, anyway, all this would have USB 1.0 and originally, and I don't know if that little plug on the front, if they have some circuits in them that would not support 2.0, you know, or what. I don't really know. I thought it'd be neat to find that out, but not right now. Don't have time for all that. So this box is fine. The oh, I forgot to check my. I got to where I'm doing that a lot. I get it playing and then I forget to turn on the audio ones to just see if everything's okay. Okay. You got to make sure you got audio and video, not just. I think I better close the browser. It's work. I let it run too long, and the fan's really running on that thing. I'll open it back up next time I want to check it. Okay, cool. Man, I did not really think I was going to be successful with that. I'm really happy that I am. Okay. Put that out of the way over there. Where's my screwdriver? Well, maybe I should put the cover. Yeah, let's do it that way. I need to move this in order to put that cover on there. So I'll just put this down on the floor for a minute. Because I don't want to shove it around and knock this off on the floor. When you're putting this case cover back on here, that's when you can shock yourself pretty easily. So, from those caps, I have done that before. You'd think there's nothing. This one is kind of made in a way that you'd be unlikely to happen, but you definitely want to be careful. Make sure that's in the right place, that wire loom. It's not a loom, but anyway, that holder protector. And make sure you put this on the right way. I think it is. Yeah, this right here. This goes down in that wire loom. So I'm going to turn it so I can see that. And there's a wire that wants to poke out. Careful. Okay. And you got to push in on the sides all at the same time to get them down inside their little place they belong in the box. And the wire loom's got to go in its place. So oddly, maybe perhaps unsuspectingly, it was to me when I first started opening and closing these things. It can be tricky. Okay. Well, now I wrote bad on it, and it may be good. Guess I'll just get to cross that out. It's bad in a good way. This is a bad power supply. It's power. It's got power. Yeah, it's bad, man. It's nationwide. I always thought that was the silliest thing. I was a grown-up raising kids. My kids were junior high. I had two girls and a boy. And when that whole thing of calling everything bad meant good, you know, I just thought that was silly, and I'd laugh. Of course, I learned to say it just like everybody else. But I actually didn't like it at all at first. Saying that. But us old people, we get used to thinking. I wasn't old back then. I was in my probably about 30. My kids were in junior high. Well, I guess they were all in junior high or pre-junior high. I don't think they were quite. My oldest daughter might have been in high school at that time. I think maybe it was right before she went in high school. So we'll get these screws on here. Yeah, I don't know if that's old now. The old song, ZZ Top song, I'm bad, 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 I'm nationwide. That's the song I was thinking of. And I don't think that's what started that. I think they just picked up on it. There's my tape that I just stuck on there because I didn't want to lose it. I don't know. I'm going to take it off and maybe I'll put it back. It's probably going to get warm and fall off though. But it was on these connectors wrapped around it. Guess I could try to put it back on there. Maybe if I put it on there and then just kind of the way they had it, since now I'm going to use it in that mode, and add a little more tape to it, because that does, oops, wrong side. It does help tell you. I mean, that's the way I learned what it was capable of. You want to make sure you don't get it on the wrong side. It's kind of the way the wires are, you know, are bent. You can tell which way it goes. And like I said, I don't think it'll let you put them wrong, because of the shape of them. It's usually one that's shaped. Yeah, there's a round one there and a round one there that won't let you do it wrong. So, you know, you really have to try awfully hard to screw that up. Now, how? Probably was out of the picture that whole time. Okay, this is how it was. Yeah, it had a bunch of tape sticking out past the... so actually turning out to be harder to get back on there than I thought it would be. But it's tore quite a bit. But yeah, I've got some real nice thick packing tape. I'm gonna just put it around there and put it back on there, because I'd like for that to stay on there. For reference, just in case. It looks a lot like the other 4-pin, and I wouldn't want to forget myself, but you don't know. Always try to be nice to the next guy or girl, because they may blow something up because you just didn't take care about how you did it. Probably should, if I'm going to do that, I was thinking I might want to, I always fold, you can't see what I'm doing, forgot. I always fold, I got this big old roll of tape, and I always fold the end over so that it won't stick down. It'll be really hard to get off. Uh-oh. And while I was being so nice to that, look what I did. I think I just wasted all this tape. Dang it. I sure did. Now I've got to get a whole nother piece. Yeah. Okay. Let's do it the way I would normally do it. So, let's get all these other ones out of the way. You don't want to be, you don't want to have scissors around little bitty wires that cut real easy. Okay. Put that on there. Now, so what I was thinking, I accidentally did just what I didn't want to do. I stuck that down. I think I will split this right down the middle. I thought about it as I was kind of looking at it, and then I said, I don't know. But yeah. Just going to take the scissors and go right down the middle of that. Because it's way too wide. It's way too nationwide like it is. There. Maybe all I need. You don't want it, I don't want it on the clip. That'll just be a problem. Now, oops, it came loose. You would do that to me, wouldn't you? All right. Oh! Now, actually, I'm going to put that on the clip simply because it won't stay if I don't. And I'm going to put my other piece on this side too. It won't hurt, the clip will still work. There's a lot of extra tape all over the place, but it's not sticking because it's been released too much. Don't want it all over the place to where you can't get it plugged in though. It's a mess. At least it's clear and it's not. Now I stuck the tape to itself there, so I think now I started to say I'll cut those ears off, but no, it'll make it want to come back off too easy. Yeah, that clip still works fine. Yeah, that'll be fun. It's just enough sticking out there I can get a hold of it, but it's not. Sometimes it gets on there so tough that you can't hardly get it off. Open up my browser again on the laptop. Check everything. Well, I'm not right now, but in a minute I will. Okay, let's see. Yeah, I'll get this in there, get it running again. And I'll just let it run while I'm eating lunch and everything. That way I can listen to how that loud thing is. Now, so I can see how well it does running for a long time. I guess if I'm going to take time out to get this started, I might as well look at it. The string. Okay, now back to where am I on the picture? There we go. That's pretty good. Okay. Yeah, we got it all ready. Oh yeah. I'm gonna take my note, my bogus bad note, and my where I wrote bad on here. I'm gonna change that. I gotta get a marker over here. Yeah, I was trying to decide if I wanted. I thought I would get red, but I've got an orange one. I'm gonna mark it out with orange. It looks red though. I'm just gonna put OK on there for now. And then if I have to expound on that note, I will later. You never know with this old used stuff. You never know when you think you figured something out too. See, I don't throw anything away hardly ever, because you might be able to fix it, or you can use parts. Like I say, when I've got power supplies out there that I've cut, Molex connectors off of. And a lot of times I've made me an adapter, a Y adapter for regular female Molex. Those are females. Even though you just look at that, you might think it's male, but if it's got holes in it, it's females. And if it's, see if there's another one in there. If it's got, I don't think there's any in here. Some of them it will be a big hole, but the pins, you look at the pins, not the case cover for it, whatever. They're male. So Molex connectors are the most confusing to decide which one's male and female. That makes me think. I was talking a lot about cables in some videos a while back, and last year I think it was, and I kept getting these things on YouTube saying I might have objectionable language on my videos, and I had to ask them to review it, or else it's going to be marked as adult. And it was talking about wiring in computers. So yeah, don't be talking about them male and female connectors. That's not nice. Let's see, is that one? Okay. Oh, I got it loose, but I didn't unplug. Oh, yes, I did. I already unplugged everything. And of course, these cases have got all kinds of sharp edges. So now this one works, but this one is only a 200 watt, I believe. I'll just read it off. I won't grab that other. This camera wouldn't focus well enough to show it. Anyway, at 720p, that's what I have. I can't go any higher than that when I'm streaming, or it will lag. The video will lag really bad. 250 watt max. That's what it is. So that's just really the absolute minimum that could run it anyway. It could even be, I think I'll open that up maybe later, because I'm getting to where I really need to have a break and can eat my lunch while I'm having my break. But I'm going to get this in here and get it running like I said I wanted to do. Now I forgot which way is which. I think it actually needs to go, because I think most of them, if not all of them, need to go one way or another, or else they won't. Screws won't match up. You would kind of think you'd want your wiring, yeah, especially if you can have the tag where you can see it. I think that's the way. Actually, I think that's the way it should be. I think they definitely match up, and I like that. I can read the tag, and that's down here out of the way. Sometimes they end up with that up there, and I don't like that. Okay, let's see.
This is a ratchet screwdriver, but on a screw that small and short, you don't necessarily need it. I still like the screwdriver. I usually use my little red one, but this one's actually working out pretty good. I don't know. I usually use, yep, I think it went crooked. And it'll drive them, because it's a big old screwdriver. Got some real gripping power on it. So I'm going to get my little red one. It's got a better magnet on it anyway. And I'll do this one first. I'll lose it. I'll do this one first. And kind of, you don't tighten any of them all the way up until you get things lined up. All of them lined up. That's a good rule on almost anything that has more than one screw or nut or bolt in it. But especially sheet metal stuff, because it's never all that accurate. That one you gotta kind of, let me turn it where I can see what I'm doing. You just don't want to go in there straight. I may have got some of these others. Oh, I see. I might have got one or two. No, they're not tight. It's just the one that don't want to line up. There. Now I can see. That must be how come one of them was kind of, no, that was a case cover. I'm going to have to take this other bottom side one out, I think. That must have been the one I wanted to do first. Surely I can get it to line up. There we go. Yeah. Now that's more like it. It is still, because I kind of crossed it before I knew it. That's why I'd like to use this little one to get them in there, and then snug it up with that big one. Because you'll strip those out in a heartbeat. This one doesn't have enough gripping power. It's so small in diameter. Doesn't have enough gripping power to. But you gotta be careful with that one. You'll strip them out. I just kind of hold it. You can't probably see. Yeah, you can. Holding it way out on the inside, not getting a good old super solid grip on it. Uh-oh, that one might be already stripped. It is. No, it tightened up. It's just that I got it crooked. It may have already been done. It's probably been crooked more than once. But just till it just, with this, something that size, just till it, you know, gives plenty of, you know, good, it doesn't want to turn anymore with just the ends of your fingers like that, then you'll, that's my torque spec. Okay. Now. Kind of get the wires where they're not too out of. I think I'll put this way behind on that side of that mother hard drive cable, so that it won't. And don't put those up there; they'll get hit on the door. And don't put anything down in there where it can touch the circuit board. Those could, if those touch those little pins of the solder joints, that could short out your hard drive. So don't put anything in a place that it could do that. There's my 4 or 8 pin. So we'll put our 4 pin in here. I hope it doesn't decide not to work after all this. But you know, how else are you going to find out? You got to try it out. That one, it almost looks like it may need something to hold it from getting in that fan. Okay, now this one is the one I taped up. Taped them together, so it'll be a lot easier to get it on and on. Ooh, that motherboard flexes. Oh, I think when I put that in there, there wasn't a place to put a standoff on this case right there, and so that motherboard flexes. So hold on to it. Don't you could break solder joints pushing. You got to push pretty hard, you know, to get that in there. So. Now, let's get this plugged in. I think I'll put this up in the bay there. I can't see that very good, but One nice thing is, there's two things, the data and the power. Okay. So, can't see it. I don't even know where it goes. It just looks like one long deal to me. Oh, okay, power on top. No, power on bottom. That's what I thought. Okay. But I should be able to just... Sometimes I have to slide the drive out to get that stuff back together, but we'll see. Oh yeah, that helps. Let's see. There's a little L in there. My glasses are falling off. I think I need to turn it that way. Yeah. Okay. Okay, I got it. Well, I couldn't even do anything without my magnifying glass and light combo there. Let's see. We'll see when we stand it up if it needs some wire restraint there. Where's our... There it is. Data cable... SATA. Now it's got a right angle on it, so you know which way it goes. Since I just took it out, I do. Those up in the bay there. Actually, I think I'll put them under that. I don't usually twist tie all my cables in places because I'm always taking things apart and putting them back together, putting more hard drives in them and stuff. So that is going to be the thing that wants to give me trouble. So make sure I get that down there. There we go. Oh, that'll be fine. I don't think that'll get... Make sure I didn't knock the memory loose. Okay. Yeah, that clip right there in the way. You got to close it to... But I don't like leaving them closed because then you don't pay attention, you're putting memory in there and you'll be trying to force it in against the grain there. Yeah, let's see. I don't think that fan was even in there. Well, it might have been. I think I had to replace it. Okay, now. Okay, so we've got our Extreme 450 watt ATX in there. And I think I'll close it so that... let's boot it up. Let's boot it up again, and then we'll stand it up and close it. And I'm gonna get us some network cable this time. I usually try to wait till the last cable. Let the last cable be the power, because a lot of them will tend to want to come on when you plug it in, and even if it's not one that typically does that, sometimes I'll just decide to do it, and then you don't have all your other stuff hooked up and it jacks everything up and it starts beeping at you and everything saying, hey, you don't have your stuff plugged in. Nobody wants that. Okay, let's see, I've got tape on there to protect that clip from getting broke. And it split and teared off. Now I gotta get my magnifying glass to see it to get it off the rest of the way. Looks like I'm gonna need my little utility knife too. You can actually see where I'm working, can't you? Okay. Oh, I hate that. I don't want to waste black tape though. That's too expensive. Or electrical tape. I guess I could use that packing tape. It's just a little more of a pain to get a piece of it off than I've got my Scotch tape on a big old roll thing that you can just grab it, get you a piece. But boy, that probably all the times I've had to do this would definitely be more of a trouble. And sometimes I use that in, for things that I want it to stay, but I just don't want to grab it. I'll show you the deal I'm talking about. You saw my other room. This is a real nice office thing, you know, that my mom had, and she wasn't using it. So you can just grab some tape. Okay, and it sticks to your fingers and thumbs. Okay, I think I got it. So yeah, it would probably be easier to dig that other thing out than to do this. So as often as I end up having to do it. But will I change my evil ways? I don't know, we'll see. It's hard to teach an old dog new tricks. Old dog new tricks. Okay, now, leave it laying. Put that out there so it doesn't, you gotta watch it on this table. That crack there will catch your cables and yank them really hard when you stand the computer up. What's the other thing I need? VGA and USB. And that is, that I save twisties, always have ever since I can remember. But I've started saving these off my bags of coffee beans. They're pretty handy too. You can wrap up cables with them and everything. I can't stand unwieldy cables, and I don't. If you tie knots in them, you always end up messing them up over time. Maybe break them up on the inside. So, okay, VGA. I think once I get it stood up, I may put audio in there too. Well, when I actually play audio, I will. It takes away from the volume on my main. Too many things in my patch bay. Okay, now, power, VGA, USB, Internet or Ethernet cable. Yeah, I think that'll be okay. Yeah, I don't think those will. Power cable was hung on my, somehow got under my multimeter. Okay, I was doing a test pickup. Good thing I did, I guess. Okay. And then when I shut the door in a little while, it should be fine. Okay. And I turned it off, so this time I could be sorely disappointed if it's, that video did look funky, but I didn't want to keep messing with it wide open and like that and everything. I gotta go see. That message is not blinking on the phone anymore. I guess my mom must have listened to it. Might not even have been for me. They usually don't call back within an hour or two. They usually end of the day or the next day. The people that I was waiting to call back. Okay. Uh-oh. Now nothing's happening. Did I turn it off? Come on. You can't be. Have I got something wrong? Where am I on my camera? I just got to thinking about that. Oh, well, let me look on the laptop. For some reason, I've got to. Now, why would you work open but not? Let me make sure I didn't accidentally get my finger on that. No, it's on 115 volts. You know, you can switch them between 110 and 115 volts. What could be? Have I got something plugged wrong? The only thing that's different is I have this power connector plugged into the DVD drive. You don't think there's like something bad about that, do you? It doesn't have a SATA power on this one. Okay, that. Is that in there good? It seems to be all the way. Okay, I can see that I'm streaming good and everything. Let's make sure the audio's still there. Oops, I did the wrong thing. I was trying to click the audio button and I clicked to go forward or back or something in the video. It went back, I think. Let me stand right here and get it, because I'll go on for 5 minutes forgetting to look at it. Okay, now should be, yeah, okay. Okay, so we're still streaming. Why aren't you coming on? Trying to see. Now I did have that plugged in to that one before. I remember that. Shouldn't make any difference. It would still try to come on. It should, unless something was somehow shorted. I don't think so. That's still where it belongs. Okay. Oh, it tried to come on. The fan span for a second and then quit, just like it was doing out there on that Pentium 3. So maybe this one ain't okay. Hey, okay after all. Well, okay, so if it's acting funny, tries to spin up and then it shuts itself down. So the first thing I would think is I'm going to check this SAT out for the drive. Let's put it in a different place is what I was thinking on the motherboard. Let's unplug the power from that too. Okay, you have to turn the power supply off and back on to get it to try again, it seems, when it does that. I do have the Ethernet hooked up. That didn't do anything. Yeah. Okay. So let's put those back. Well, it may have some sort of problem then. Working and not working. Let's see, let's try a different, not that it should matter, but I'll try a different spot on that SATA power cable. And I'll try that other one on there, the one that worked. Actually, before I even plugged it in, let's do that. So the one I was actually using was the closest one, shortest one. Put those down in there. Let's see. Nope, that didn't make any difference. Dang, I think I got all excited prematurely. Okay, I think I'll put it back the way I had it. I like it better that way. I don't think that's going to make any difference. And that's still with the SATA not plugged in at all to the motherboard. No, it didn't want to try at all. It did that with that Pentium 3. There, it tried. Okay, let me take the main connector off of there and make sure that I haven't somehow made a mistake with it. I don't think you can, but yeah, there's two rounded off ones. Oh, there's a bunch. Oh, there's one square one on the end, on each end. Yeah, I don't think you could flip it, and it's not flipped because the wires look exactly like they should be, all routed together and everything. So I was thinking, what if I flipped it or something? Darn it. So I guess I was right all along. It is bad. Turn that light off. It did look funny while it was booting, like maybe it wasn't quite right. it's turned off, but it's still plugged in. I'm going to unplug it while I'm doing this. Make sure I got that right. I'll take it off and put it back. You can't turn that the wrong way either. But it could have not been in all the way or something. Wishing. Oh, I can wish, can't I? Okay, so let me look at those numbers on there. I don't know which. SHA3. Turn it around. Oh, nope, it's all plugged up. Ethernet is plugged in, that's different. Can't see the number. Oh, 2, 1. Yeah, I had it in 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. Like I said, I think it makes a difference, but everything has been working fine in that regard with the other power supply, so I don't think there's any point in changing that. I want to try a different, I mean, the only thing that should happen is if one of these was, you know, loose inside, not connecting good, that that device wouldn't work, you know. So, shouldn't stop the power supply from starting up, unless it was shorted. But since I know I've had trouble with it before, then, you know, probably was bad all along. I was probably right, and it probably was bad all along. That one don't want to go on there unless I'm just hitting it wrong or something. Got the right end, yeah. Well, that one just doesn't want to go on there just for nothing. Something wrong with it? There's something in it? Can't see in there all that well. See a couple of pins that look like they're sticking up. Let's look at this one now. I think it's just the way they look. Oh, okay, depending on kind of how you look at it. Let's see, maybe I'm just missing the right spot. Yeah, I guess I was because, oh, that one goes in there, okay. Okay, now let's try this one again. I don't see anything like anywhere somebody jammed something in there or anything. You never know what people might have done. I mean, well, this one nobody else had before me, but I wouldn't have jammed anything in there. Boy, that one won't go in there for nothing. I'm not going to force it and break it. I don't know why it's so tight. Okay, let's try it with it off still. Let's see. Memory's still in the right place. Okay, let's see, it's off. Okay, let's plug it back in. Multimeter. I could move it, I guess, but it's handy for me to use it. Okay. Okay. Man, it's getting hot in here. It's only 76, but it's hot to me. Heater keeps, oh, it almost came on, but then it went off. And then once it goes off, that's it. I don't know, maybe, you know, it was just laying here, but it still should have been grounded, even, you know, just laying on all this bare metal screws and stuff. I mean, this is painted. Well, no, it's not. It's anodized, I think. Let me open my window a little more before I forget. Or a lot more. But, yeah, so I was thinking, well, maybe being grounded, you know, there's like a short in there, and when I grounded it to the case by screwing it in there, it made it shut down on a protection, you know. I mean, let's see, putting the cover back on it is a change that I just did. If it won't start, there's no point in plugging all this stuff in, is there? And I already tried taking this cable off of the board. I'll do it again. Okay. Tries to start, and it seems like it's shutting itself down on the protection, somehow in its protection, internal protection. Let's take the Ethernet out and see. Well, it went on the floor. Yeah, I didn't think so. I'll leave the Ethernet down there because if it ain't going to start, it's not going to matter. So why would you work opened up and uninstalled but not work installed? Tell me that, Mr. Power Supply. Well, I'm going to put stuff in there like it would like I want it. Let's see. One more time before I say, okay, I don't know what's going on. Let's see. This one here on the end is the one that I can get plugged in. Well, see, that wasn't plugged in, so even if there was something wrong with it, shouldn't be. There's nothing in there. I think it's just tight. The plastic is just tighter or something. But I could wiggle that around and see if, putting it in a different place. Yeah, I don't think there's. Put a little pressure on it. Yeah, I don't really think there's a thing wrong with that cable. I'm going to just plug them in as if it was going to work and see what happens. Again. Oh, the joys and disappointments of computer repairs. Isn't it exciting? Just like sports. The only thing about sports is I don't like watching it because if it's something I can do, participate in, I like to watch it. Well, actually, I'd rather do it, but but I've always loved hot rodding and car racing, but I don't ever spend much time. I used to always build hot rods and stuff, but I haven't my whole life spent much time watching it. So I like to watch things that I can learn about. I'll do that. That's what I mostly do. Watch things that I can learn. That's why I like to make these videos, because I know somewhere somebody might like it. Might help somebody. Of course, it would help a lot if I would have the time to edit them and wherever, so that they, didn't have to try to skip through them to watch them. But if you did have time, you would see exactly how it goes. There's no pretend here. Okay. Man, I'm sad about that. Okay, so that can stay there, that can stay there. Well, I'll unplug this one just so I can see to plug in that SATA cable. I don't see anything I can do about it. I mean, I can wiggle cables. It doesn't matter. Yeah, it could be a... Don't smell like... Let's start. Whoa. Do I have... if it's heating up... Hear noises out there. Trying to see what... Oh, it's a truck or something. Somebody probably delivering something or something to the neighbors. I don't think it's here. I am getting stuff, but let me just glance out the window and see. Oh, the GPS probably is ours, but I don't have to go get it. Go put it on the porch. I heard people talking. That's what made me wonder, because usually there's one guy by himself. I heard somebody talking. Maybe he's talking out loud on the phone. Huh. Yeah, that was the way that was. I don't know if you could see that, but it's that one. When you unplug it, it wants to move around and stick out further than these. But I was very careful to get that all the way plugged in. So, get this one off of here. Well, I guess I don't want to buy a power supply for this machine. If I want to buy anything, I'll buy it from her main machine. And so, I guess I will put the other one back in there and have to give up. Can't see any. I mean, if it's going to be iffy like that, then there's no point in trying to use it. The whole point is I wanted something that would work right. Yeah, there must be somebody else, more than one person on that truck. Get it out. Not okay. Bad okay? I don't, well, okay, it's bad. Okay, it's bad. Put this over here in the floor. Well, I won't trip on those cables. Getting hung up. This is a lot heavier. Must have more. I don't know what would be in the, well, heavier, more windings, but why would it have more windings when it, this is a Delta? I thought it said Del. More windings and bigger. Well, I guess, yeah, the older ones may have had bigger windings in them, bigger and heavier, more wire in them. But, so anyway, I don't know. Sometimes, just notice that with these, some are heavier than others. Some people think that means something's made better, but it really just means it's made with more windings, which might be an older way of doing it usually. A little less, like discrete components, maybe you'd say, and more. I don't get it. Well, discrete components are like those very, very small chips and stuff. I can't say the right words, so it sounds stupid trying to say them. I said I've been reading about that junk for years, trying to learn about it, but then I forget all the right words at the right time. Oh, that's aggravating. I'm putting it back in. I just can't believe I'm having to put it back in after all that. Okay. Oh, don't lose that. Okay, that multimeter actually saved that screw. It would have been down in the floor and hard to find. Let's see. Get that one started. Let's try down here in the corner. Good opposite corners would probably be the best bet. Some of them have just round holes and some have oblong holes to help you have a little play there. So I want to get the ones with the round holes first usually. Or I mean, you can start with whatever you want. Really start with an oblong hole, then you got some adjustment. But you got to get them all lined up and quit dropping your screws. If this screw's got, I was going to say, if it didn't want to turn, then I may have gotten some metal in it for that other one. But it's all right. Oh, that's the one that's tight. I was like, why can't I turn that? Well, I guess I will work on it today and see what else. I never did get the scanner working. She actually doesn't know how to use it, so if I could leave it, and not worry about it right now. Just get her, because the printer, as long as the printer works, that's what she uses a lot. As long as I didn't break that trying to fix the scanner, making it work. I'll have to check that again. I want to do one more check on it. I want to try, because I kept thinking, well, maybe I was running tests by scanning or connecting to it with my machine first a lot. And I thought, well, maybe it's holding like a lock on the thing and won't let it go for a while. And however long, and maybe that's why I kept saying it can't see it, because it didn't say it was busy, it said it couldn't see it. But just something I got to thinking about. So, try it first and see if there's anything to that theory. Now this one doesn't come apart. This is all just 24 pin only. Yeah, I've been seriously considering, got that 650 watt power supply. I could get well, the 8 cores were too expensive. I could get a 6-core processor for her main machine. And but I would need this motherboard. So, but I don't really didn't really want to just spend a bunch of money anyway, so I thought, well, let's just set this up. It's going to take a lot of time though. But set her machine up and see if it runs good enough. She doesn't watch videos and stuff, like I've said before, so she won't be like me and be all, you know, well, this thing's a piece of crap because I can't watch my videos and edit my videos sometimes and all that. So I'm trying to figure out what's the best way to do that. I think I'll use the one on the end. Okay. That one goes in there quite nicely, no problem. Okay, let's get my SATA cable plugged in. When I first saw my first machine with 8 SATA cables, I had a little bit of, it was kind of weird. I thought, you know, no big deal, just a different kind of connector, but I had to pay more attention to get them right. They're really simple, but they were very different in size and configuration. You can't see to hook them up, that's for sure. Very different in size and configuration to IDE cables and Molex, and the Molex. It's the SATA power that it's not. It's just a lot harder to hook up. It's not a big deal, but I'm gonna put that behind that. Maybe it'll work as a cable restraint. Some of these Molexes will be real tight and hard to get off, and some of them will just want to almost fall off there. Oh yeah, I had that in there, and that's probably a real good idea. Probably did it for a reason. Betcha. Yeah, because it can go all over the place and get it. It's long enough it could get something in the fan. Okay. I think we're all hooked back up. Now let's try this one as it normally is supposed to be. Gotta be really careful when I'm finding the end of this Ethernet cable. I've got several of them that are good cables with broken clips and they won't stay in. I was fighting with, got some out in the garage that I use once in a while out there. They kept coming loose on me when I least expected it. And I was setting up a router to be a wireless repeater, so what, you know, that really added to the aggravation of that. Because I'd moved the laptop a little bit, or moved the router just a little bit, and finally I figured out one end had a clip and the other didn't. It was a red cable just like that one. And finally figured out that it was actually better to plug the one without a clip to the laptop. Because I thought, well, I'll be moving the laptop, that's where I'll plug it in. But no, it's the router that I moved a lot. So anyway, swapped them back. I put the clip in the router. And then I got to where I could handle it. This one don't have an on-off switch. Okay, so I think I'll do the same thing. I'll leave it up running and see if it acts crappy today like it did that day, after it runs a long time. Yeah, I'm still on the... Let's make sure we're still working here before I hit that turn on button. But, make sure we're all plugged up right. Make sure I didn't yank anything loose by accident. Okay, I think we're good. Oh, man. Well, all I'm trying to do is just fiddle around. I don't mind doing all this, but when I'm trying to get another job done, I don't like it, all this sidetrack. Okay, comes on like it should. Now, I'll wait and stand it up after it finishes booting up. Yeah. Okay, so booting up fine. Get booted up, get it logged in, and then I'm gonna go see if I can get some lunch. Check my message too. See if that message should, see if it's mine or not. Might not even been for me. It might have been just scammers calling or people trying to sell stuff. They're scammers as far as I'm concerned. They never call you with some honest deal. Anybody that's calling you, I wouldn't trust them, period. So don't bother, don't waste your time. But I guess there's enough people that do, and that's why they still do it. They try to prey upon older people that are easily fooled, like my mom. And I just tell her, don't even answer the phone. All of the videos doing the same thing. Gray screen with just a little bit of text. So, I sure hope the video chip on this motherboard's not acting up. But then it's fine. Once it boots up, it's just perfect. But it does crash. The video will crash sometimes. And I thought it was something in the software, but then I began to think maybe it was the power supply. Thought, well, maybe if the power supply is not giving that thing enough juice, or it's fluctuating. But it did boot up perfectly, just like it did when that other power supply was wide open. Now, if I was really knew enough about electronics, I bet I could fix that power supply. Maybe that one cap, that one that swole. Maybe I know just enough that if I were to replace that, it would be okay. I guess I'm gonna hang on to that, and maybe one day I'll try that. It's only one. We could probably manage that one. When I see about 15 of them or 25, especially when they're small, I just think, oh man, I'll just buy another one. Especially since you have no idea what component might be bad, and if that's gonna, you know, like I've been watching videos of electronics engineers. Those real good videos of, you know, showing you how to fix stuff. Mostly they like to do old retro gear, which I think is really interesting. But I don't have very much of that. Well, I have some 80s video gear, but I'm gonna stand it up. Just leave it right there where I normally leave it. And let it run while I go eat and everything. So, it's a loud machine. That fan, those fans in it are loud. Let's see how it's doing. I started to say I'll do a... It takes so long to open up TeamViewer and all that. I might as well just not do that right now. Do it later when I'm ready to actually use it. Play that same video. Still don't have the sound hooked up. I'll do that later. But okay, looks fine. I'm just gonna let it run like that. And it should run Lucky Backup too. Oh, I don't have the drive plugged in. Well, that's fine. Oh no, I didn't need the drive. Probably won't be around to see whether or not that happens though, because I will be getting food hopefully. I heard someone in the dinging. I can always hear the dinging of the microwave. If someone's in the kitchen, and that means that I can't get in there a while ago, but they may be done by now, hopefully. Okay. let's see. That preview is frozen on my preview screen. See, that's the bad thing about getting off there and staying off there for a long time. Uh-oh. It's something happened. I must have lost that camera. What happens is if it loses connection to the through the Wi-Fi, it'll freeze on the last frame that it was showing. So let me just go to the other camera. This one's working just fine. I'll go back to it and see if it's still working. I guess what I'll do is turn those off while I'm eating and everything. Yeah, see, it's black. There's nothing there. It must have went to sleep or the app crashed or something on that phone. I don't know when it did that, but sorry. All that. Thought I was showing what I was doing. See, normally I have my preview up. Well, I have been checking off, and so it hasn't been too long. I can hear myself talking and echoing in my ear. So I don't know. I lost some of my video there, but at least it looks like my audio was working. So I'm going to go get lunch and all that stuff, and I'll come back and start working on the software again now. Doggone, what a aggravation. I was all happy. I thought, oh, that power supply is good after all. Usually when I think something is bad, it's most of the time I'm right, or it's like almost failed, you know, it'll work and not work. I can figure that out without being an electronics engineer, but sometimes I fool myself, like with that motherboard that's in there that I bought for her machine, and it turned out it was the main power switch with an intermittent. It would stay connected, and it's a momentary switch. They're supposed to connect and let go. And it was staying connected, and the machine would try to boot and then shut down and try to boot. Well, like that was doing just now, was doing that, you know. So see, that power supply does that. It tries to, well, with that the other machine, you could see it was trying to boot, you know. Like, I don't know if you could see it on the screen, but you could hear it. It would spin up the fans enough you could hear them running. This one, you got to really sit there and watch them, or they don't spin like 3-4 rotations, you know, with that power supply. So, all right. Well, I'm going to go and come back after a while. It's done. Bye-bye.